Well, another episode that I've put together here with a bunch of stuff added in the mix with random ranting and ravings about what's going on in the social media world right now. What's going on with low budget podcasters. I mentioned something about the divide between big music bands and small musicians. But the long and short of this episode is just that I wanted to show you guys what content that I'm making and what I'm putting out. As well as pretty much just basically reminding myself of what it is that I'm making and putting out so that I know what it is that I'm making and putting out. The stuff that I didn't get around to, that I wanted to get around to, was showing a little bit more of the arts and crafts. Hey, I mean, I could make a whole series about these, honestly, where I just bump into something cool and interesting. And in fact, I might just have to. I just might have to. But for this episode here, there's all the tracks from the same album, making it much easier on me. So that I have 2 tracks from the album, Mountains Have a Grudge, History of Her, Mountains Have a Grudge, and what is the first one? An Ancient Sinister Delight.
Hey,
that was pretty fun. But
guys,
anyway,
that's quite enough of whatever you were doing before tuning into this broadcast, podcast, pod show. I've just got done scrolling and perusing my Explore feed featuring scantily clad women and women with large mammary glands. Unfortunately, no Conker's Bad Fur Day with squirrels with large mammary glands, but the relaxation station has now begun. So commence your little ritual that you do when you listen. Stuff, and I was looking for that specific notification one day of troll in the dungeon. As it just happens. Is this angle kind of weird? This angle is weird. That makes me feel a little uncomfortable. I'll go back up here. Crime and I shouldn't show my sexual prowess, my sexually charged side, whilst on camera. Now this is an episode I'm going to troll my feed here. I'm going to do a quick introduction. Shout outs to the new subscribers. Shout outs to the new followers. And I have been more active in the chat recently as of late than I normally am, as I'm just finding that to be pretty beneficial, where I gained a subscriber from being in chat the other day. And so shout outs to the new subscribers. I have to do this every time. And what I also like to do is actually create a special post that has you officially tagged in the post of shout out new subscriber. But this is the official introduction. I am Mickey Gemineye. This is the Vault of Doom podcast. This is what the Vault of Doom is. Today I'm going to be actually doing some guitar shorts on my official Mickey Gemineye YouTube channel, where I can show you a couple new guitar hacks and get you kind of in touch with your skill building, playing some guitars. My hands are not up to standard, to my own standards right now, so I'm going to be improving on that. But I've got permanent muscle memory on a lot of different things, guitar playing being one of them. So anytime that I pick up that guitar back there and start hitting some licks, riffs, embellishments, arpeggios, and finger exercises, it's on tap all the time, except for, of course, the metronome. So I think what the first short will be on the guitar videos today and the guitar hacks will be something about adding in your metronome, implementing your metronome standard, and everything like that being super important. Because if you're not on time, you're late. And even if you're on time, you're late. But playing on time with an arpeggio really makes your stuff sound official. I don't know. As it stands right now for the current project I'm working on, I don't honestly have any importance on staying on timing. There's no importance that I have currently on timing. I'm literally making a point on these current projects that I'm working on to not be on time, actually. And it's just making for some weird, wacky stuff. I was listening to my stuff recently, a couple days ago, and realized, hey, these are actually just like movie soundtracks. So I'm just gonna end up using all this fucking shit that I've been using for a soundtrack for some movies, which is totally unnecessary and something I don't need at all, considering that all the music videos that I make and I'm making have a storyline, and the music videos I'm making right now are set to be short movies, short films in and of themselves. Especially when you put them all together, it makes like one giant movie, one giant storyline, and goes with the concept of the album trilogy that's set for no date at all. The first of was actually supposed to be released today. So I've made it pretty clear to myself at this point that the song releases that I'll be engaging in today are gonna have a whole set thing of themselves, where it's literally probably even just gonna be like an entire fucking, it's literally just gonna even be like an entire fucking EP of its own, standing alone, where it was supposed to be on the triple LP. And that's just kind of one of the things, the layers of skin that get shed from this thing, whatever it is. It was just supposed to be some songwriting. What started off as some simple songwriting has now evolved into something way out of control, just way more than somebody should be able to handle, where I'm just literally doing some simple songwriting, writing some simple songs as is what comes natural to me. And then before I know it, I've got all these songs lined up, I've got all the concepts for each song and each album lined up, and now and the music videos to go with it, and then now the stuff that gets kind of excreted and shed from and extracted and distilled from that after the songwriting, after the albums. Now there's just like a baby came from it now. Now it has given birth to a baby and a young child, and now this baby is set to be released today, technically. And by today I mean like, once the sun goes down, it gets dark, and I'm feeling inspired and feeling comfortable. I'm gonna hole up and crawl into my little hole and just have my stuff, have my creativity just flowing, and let the stuff be released sometime this weekend. Where the whole album was set to be released today. It's actually really just a signifier, a signification of when the commencing of releasing this new technical EP is just set to be released sometime this weekend, early next week. Is how I have to go about it, is how I have to talk about it, is how whatever gets in the way. What a nuisance, what a nuisance, what a thing that makes me making these so much more difficult and nothing makes making those more difficult at all. It's kind of just the way it's going to be. Like I set the pace, I set the tone. That's the way it's going to be. The end of story. So what is apart from all that is all my social media profiles. I think we all have heard the regurgitated phrases over and over again, like social media is a fake reality and the internet is hell and all of this stuff, and it's true or it's not true, I don't know. What I do know is it has to be true. It must be true. It must be true, considering that I'm doing all this other stuff like outside of the realm of all my social media profiles, and then we could sit here and take a look at my social media profiles, and none of this is really even mentioned. None of this is hinted at. None of these clues are given at any point in time on any of the social media's profiles. All my social media profiles are just like a separate entity of themselves here. But there's still some cool stuff in here. We're gonna go over what's on there, and I'll give you a heads up. There's arts and crafts. There's some stuff yet to be revealed. Some stuff that needs to be on there. I'm not gonna dwell on that, worry about that too much. But there's some stuff that needs to also go on there. I'm gonna be trying to give some shout outs to local artists, local musicians, local artists and musicians. I'm going to be trying to provide as much coverage of what has been sent my way, what's on my plate right now, as it is evident that is one's responsibility. It's just, as the segue into that is going to be me asking for your support here. I'm just going to be asking you guys for your support. As I don't have any really idea why I'm going to be receiving so much blowback and receiving so much doubt from the discouragement would be the better word. I'm receiving a lot of discouragement from seeing a lot of how everybody else is succeeding on their stuff, how people earn income from this, how people do a ton of other content, ton of other varieties of content, and then they gain a large following. It's not important to me that I get the views. I'm not somebody that does this so that I can thrive on and feed on views, getting views from people, getting comments and feedback. I need the comments and the feedback to affect what I'm doing, but I'm not trying to get view. I'm not trying to make these so that I can see some kind of number, some kind of double digit or triple digit or thousands of views on my stuff, as that's really a bit of a just a weird thing. What a weird existence that must be to have that. And of course, as usual, let it roar. You know, market on that, capitalize on that, run with that, roll with that. Nothing against anybody who's got some marketability and being weird or anything like that, but I'm just receiving some of this discouragement from seeing everybody making so many different varieties of stuff that people are interested in, while I sit here and make all of these varieties of stuff and nobody's interested in it. And I'm commenting on it as a way, basically just as a filler, honestly. So when that changes and then I don't have that as a filler anymore, it'd be nice, because then at that point I can get down to business, get down to something real that's actually it'd give me something else to talk about. I won't have to use the filler anymore, because I'll be able to talk about something substantial, something real that's happening in the interactions that I'm having with the people on here, and the feedback that I'm getting from what I'm posting on here. And well, anyway, that's very confusing as usual. So it just really helps me serve as a background noise podcaster at this point, and having some of the awareness of the discouragement that I'm getting is nice, because then I can just say, well, you know, it's time for a change. It's time to change something around, and make sure that it's making good, doing something with this frame of time that I have that is going to help propel me, push me forward into the next step of whatever the next stage looks like. Where right now it looks pretty quiet. It's pretty dead over here. It's a dead zone. It's pretty quiet, and as discouraging as that may be, or negative, as pessimistic, or pejorative as that may be, the social profiles are on here, the content is on here, and let's crack into this and see what we got. Let's see what there is on here. I also have to make sure too that I'm like holding the phone properly when I do hold this to do the recordings, as I'm covering up all my microphone covers. I'm covering up the microphone, and then I'm masking the parts of the video that I cover the microphone up, and it's quiet with music, and I'm putting the music over it, and then it's like, nobody cares what I'm saying anyway, you know. And it's like, well, that's killing me a little bit. That's killing me a little bit, that I have to do that. That I have to be like, you know, constantly working with all the basically it's I'm constantly working with all the technical difficulties by succeeding over the adversity, the adversity of, I accidentally covered the microphone so you can't hear what I'm saying. No big deal. I'll throw some music on over it. It's great, you know. And that's like, oh, that's cool. I'm calling that an artistic edge right now. But that sort of triumph is, at this point in time, like literally conceptual. At this point, it just is. It just is straight up conceptual now. Like, make a band about that, you know, like Imperial Triumphant, and then make some music and make some songs and make some concepts about this. Don't thrive on succeeding in adversity, in actuality, unless of course you want to be doing that and that's what you want to be doing. I don't know. I'd rather have these episodes of the show and this content I'm providing serve as a purpose for somebody and implement it into something that meaningful in someone's life, and then they're showing their support and sending me money and improving the show, helping me get better equipment, making it so that this hub, that this space where I'm broadcasting is able to do more. And one more quick comment too before we actually get into this. I mean, I'm literally looking at just a true heartbreaker this morning. I woke up, I posted a short, I posted a story on my Instagram, and I posted a short on YouTube, and then I was like, this is the truth is stranger than friction, crazy ass cool thing that this is my life. I'm waking up in the morning. I'm waking up in the morning, living in a tent. Built a skateboard ramp in the woods, and I'm drinking a Red Bull, looking out at the water, and skating a slippery, dangerous skateboard ramp that I built in the woods. Drinking Red Bull, living in a tent when it's about to get cold out, and it's like, whoa, holy shit, you know. It's like people can only just not help but get overloaded with this, and then just go, oh, whoa, holy shit, and then. We're well trained now with all these shorts and these reels and these TikToks that we're just, you know, maybe drop a comment, maybe don't, maybe drop a like, maybe don't, keep scrolling. But X and my comments on what my posts on X, my posts on X have resulted in is now I'm not getting any more likes on X. It's a grandma's boy, now you don't get the colonel scenario. Like I said, you know, can you do something more than drop a like? Can you drop a comment or something like this so that I know it's but now I've said something about that. Now I don't even have any likes. And then I commented on how all the profiles that are following me on X are fake, and now I'm not getting any followers. And now it's just super quiet on X. The only social media that was bumping is no longer bumping. I mean, it's like I always know what I have to do, but then it just defeats the purpose really, and I'm super inhibited. I'm very inhibited indeed, and I have to admit that before I can move forward. But not really though. I don't really have to admit that, as it's not even entirely true. I'm not even totally inhibited. I thought I was inhibited about in a very, very small improvement that I was going to make on the show's introduction videos. And then I said, you know, something happened, and then I said, oh, I'm inhibited now. It was like something totally unassociated with the goal of accomplishing the goal of improving this small adjustment on the show's introduction video. And then I literally said to myself out loud to myself, I was like, I'm inhibited now. You know, sarcastic or not, it doesn't matter. I said it. I said that I was inhibited, you know, that you're putting that out, you're putting that energy out into the universe, and then it's receiving it, and then I just, it's like a boomerang. I caught it back immediately, and it became, and then therefore afterwards became uninhibited, completed the small adjustment, and as a result of that vicious cycle, now I just feel addicted to that overcoming adversity thing that I was talking about, where that's so sad, so depressing. That is so sad, especially considering that we're going to take a look at what we have on my profiles here, and I've got a lot of varieties of content. I've got a lot of varieties of things, and a lot of things that people are interested in. People do care and are interested in these things. There's just that obstacle that I'm meant to deal with right now of whatever it is that's keeping people from finding my stuff. We all know paying for promotions is not going to give you the following that you want. My organic following is doing decent, but that's a mouthful for you guys who are looking at this time, how long you've been watching so far, or if you fast forward and saying he's been talking for that long for an introduction. Well, there's been a few episodes of the show released yesterday and the day before. This is an episode to follow. It should have one more in conjunction of it that be released this weekend, as it is the weekend technically right now. And so I'm going to get to the support that I'm asking. Is that I have a goal of the support that I'm asking, that evidently I have to have 50 subscribers on my YouTube channel, and those 50 subscribers I believe go on all YouTube channels, but each one of my YouTube channels is different in terms of what's verified and what each one is capable of doing, what each one is allowed to do. But specifically on the Vault of Doom podcast YouTube channel, if I can get up to 50 subscribers before Thanksgiving, that is a month away. If I can get to 50 subscribers in 30 days, it's really only 23 subscribers that I need, but 50 subscribers in 30 days, I'll be able to start live streaming with you guys here on this homestead, and then doing the activities that I do, as there is always something that I need to live stream here. There's plenty of benefit in me editing the videos and making cool sound effects and cool songs and all that stuff, but live streaming is going to capture the moment that I need it to be captured on, where I already downgraded and settled for less by losing my Facebook account through unjustifiable means that I have to do. I've done an episode on that, and I have to investigate and look into that and solve that issue myself. But the show was live streamed all day long, all the time, and live streamed with my guests on and all this stuff. But then I downgraded, settled for less, and started recording the conversation between my guests and I. And now that's causing me problems. And now that problem has reached a standstill. I've reached a screeching halt at this point for publishing the videos of me hosting a guest on my show, where I'm interviewing them on the show. And now I'm saying, well, if it's going to be causing me all these problems, I better just go back to where the fuck I was then in the first place, and that is live streaming my guests on my show. So live streaming available on Vault of Doom podcast YouTube channel with 23 more subscribers, but the goal is 50 subscribers by Thanksgiving. Will make it so that I can have that live stream set for whatever, and then technically I could just do it all on Twitch right now, but I'm just sticking and focusing here right now on these social media profiles, and with that, I'm gonna have to really get into the other support that I'm asking. Is that you guys, if you watch my videos, like I have all these hundreds of views on all my videos, you know, drop a comment when you're watching it or something like that, and drop a like and share the stuff. I mean, people are honestly interested in this stuff. It's just not manifesting in physical form here on these social media profiles. A conundrum and a riddle for me to solve. Fun stuff. Anyhow, the ability to freaking really do this show the way that I want to do it, through live stream, to record the interactions and the interviews with the other guests on the show, that being at a screeching halt right now. I'm looking at these thing that happened earlier. I'm watching another album premiere about this band that everybody's crazy about. I mean, from my perspective, hearing about bands that people are crazy about, I'm looking at myself babble and ramble and do all these podcasts and do all this, really only one song that I've made out of all the bunches of songs that I made is actually decent up to my own standards. I'm like, well, something went wrong. You know, something happened and something went wrong. So my attitude is, as usual, work around it, overcome it, work around it, overcome it. Oh well, I don't have time for excuses. I don't have an option of failure. The end of story. I mean, it's really quite the situation that could be described as something that exceeds a riddle or a conundrum. It's like the worst thing that could possibly happen. And then I had this, and then I just had this freaking stuff floating around in my head for fucking weeks and months and years on end over here. Just like, is there any fucking way to talk about this? Oh, I forgot I've been running a podcast for years. You know, this is what the podcast is for. And then it comes to the perfect timing as usual for me. But is it though? Is it really perfect if this crap always continues to happen? Anyway, it's all I got for now, so I have to drop it in and just be hey, well, yeah, the concepts for this album has been like literally just sitting in a vault in an archived. I've archived this concept album for going on 5 years now, half a decade. So that's not as much time as that's not as much time of a gestation as the artists that I just interviewed, where they had a very interesting story that I still didn't feel satisfied that I commented on enough. But it's still half a decade, and it's actually, you know, at give or take 1 year, give or take a year. And that's just crazy, man, to have this stuff, you know. What a delight, what a delight. Whose hands, what supernatural mysterious forces, and whose hands has this power fallen into? I don't know. That'd be something I would like to know, and that'd be something I'd like to know, to work with what I know about that, and actually make something out of it, actually create something out of it, actually put the stuff up on here, where this clusterfuck dumpster fire that I got going on over here is working out pretty nicely in terms of I'm sticking with it. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying consistent. So that's an ameliorative perspective of the scenario, and it's of an ultimately pejorative scenario, as honestly, for something to go on being archived and vaulted for this long, there's not a moment to waste. There's no time to waste. And then all the other time that is wasted is kind of just a recycling. It's like a recycling center over here, put into all of this content that I'm putting out in the form of a podcast, and then putting it all out in the form of the shorts, and then the guitar playing videos, the vocal exercises, all that stuff. But it's really just gonna have to leave it there. I'm just gonna have to leave it there, leave it like that. When this stuff is finally ready, that's something I cannot even spare the time or thought power, mind power to sit and think about. As I said, the signifying of that baby, the thing that has now, the thing that was my creation now has its own creation, is set for release any day now. Any day now, this thing can just be born and enjoyed by many for what it is, as I'm looking at the true honesty of how what real critique and what real corrective criticism am I actually using on this. And that's just using a metronome. Using a metronome is gonna fix everything. You know, it's whatever. It's the time that I would otherwise use entertaining that whirlwind of thought, that swirl, that whirlwind, that storm of thought, that totally outlandish way of thinking is where I just have to remind you guys and remind myself that this content that's up here right now is what's up here right now, and stuff that you can look forward to later, and stuff that I want to feature on here as well later is some of the other stuff, like just some other stuff. I don't care to go into detail about it, but that's okay. There's some more stuff. There's some more stuff to freaking show you. We have such blank to show you. You know, it's like, if only I could just remember everything and be as good as if only I could just be better than a machine, or if only I could entertain the idea that I'm actually trying to fight some kind of machine. You know, at some point, somebody has to be fucking real with themselves. I'm asking that this be the case when I'm saying be real. You know, it's making me have to like say shit that I don't want to say, and reveal more than I am comfortable revealing. Anyway, that literally did sound like a whole fucking storm of shit that didn't make any sense. I have to resolve that none of that made any sense, other than whatever I could piece back together from that. I fucked up, or something like this. So let's fix it. I'm gonna fix it now. And getting started here into this episode, after all that, I literally have to just bounce out for a commercial break. this episode, I'm ready to follow my own rules today, and I'm gonna actually focus. I'm focused today. I'm gonna feature the album that I want to feature on this episode, and I can actually talk about it this time. That's cool. Whoa, that's so cool. Wow, oh wow. That was a track from the most recent experimental, avant-garde, electronic sounding music. I don't even know if it is black metal, honestly. People keep saying it's not, and then I keep saying, okay, whatever. But it's Mountains Have a Grudge. And anyway, that's what's on here in this episode. So cool, focus today. Anyway, let's get into my social media profiles. Now, being where I'm at and then seeing what I do when I go exploring, when I go out with the intent of getting lost, planned spontaneity is the pace. And what I find and what I see and what I think when doing so is what I'm going to share with you right now. Some of the other low budget, not as well known content creators, podcasters, and musicians that I find on here typically aren't falling victim to any judgments or a judgmental viewpoint. Obviously, some of it's unavoidable. There's the sporadic spike of I might be judgy or something like that. Voicing it out loud is not really going to help. I mean, unless you're doing it like here now, like I am, but it kind of exacerbates it a little bit if you do that. I don't know. I like to always associate certain behaviors with certain geographic locations. That mindset is a serious boner killer. If there was just some way that I could be religiously reading Faust, as I have been religiously reading Faust, Wolfgang von Goethe's Faust, I would maybe uncover the riddle, solve the riddle, and uncover the answer to solve the riddle to this predicament. But let's get into the topic of what I was just trying to say here. Let's get back on track. Those other underpaid, not well-known artists and things like that. This is first of all, let's start with the reality of the context of the realm of social media, the realm of the internet, the realm of the online, and what it is. It's a whole nother can of worms. What you could sum it down to without having to open a can of worms to is that I'm speaking my mind. I'm speaking my mind, being nonchalant about it, about my feelings towards it and my perspective. And so the position that I'm in and category of content creator that I'm in is the same as all the underdogs and all this other stuff. My attempts have been to post all these tutorial videos and show people how to play, have how-to videos, how to play this finger exercise. Really is all I have. All I have so far is just finger exercises. I don't have any of the seven modes of the major scale yet, or anything like that. That's my I'm competing with myself awareness rant. I'm aware that I'm just fighting against myself fruitlessly if I'm to sit here and say, well, all I have is finger exercises. I need to have 7 notes of the major scale, and then after that, then I need all the other ones that all the other scales and finger exercises that are special to me. You know, it's not like that for me at all. My own algorithm and natural flow and flux and ebb and flow stuff is everything that comes out on these all comes out really naturally. So without me having any representation and without having anybody sponsor me or anything like that, it causes a lot of problems for only me, and until it starts causing problems for other people, and it's sort of like a black hole. This thing that I'm going to show you on my social media profiles is literally just something of a black hole, where I'm just sucking everybody in at this point. And then, you know, it's like, dude, it did not have to fucking be this big of a deal. Like, I was just literally fucking started doing all this, this origin story, started doing all these origin stories on my show, and then seeing that didn't catch, and then now after the origin stories, I guess I'm just resorting back to all the other natural ideas that come to me, and then I put them out, dish them out. And then what comes after this would be like, I guess nowhere to go but up type thing, small setback for a major comeback type thing, whatever, all that other stuff that people always say. But those tutorial videos didn't catch either. It's like I'm trying to get eye level with who I am here with at, but obviously I'm still not here at that level with the lower grade people are not who I'm at level with. As I'm watching this video of this premiere of this band that everybody likes, and then I'm seeing their feedback, I'm seeing what they're saying about it, and they're crazy about this band and everything. I'm looking at the invite. I'm looking at the invitation to the show to be interviewed by me, so to the band from me. And then what happened afterwards was literally the live chat that I was in filled itself with content that would be used for an interview. So I invited them onto an interview. I'm also working with some time here that was scheduled for an interview with another band. I had to reschedule, and that got pushed back to next week. So that's another thing too. Another thing that's just an extreme hardship, where all of this really is fixed by moving, by just packing my shit up and moving and getting the fuck out of here. It's just, you know, then I reached the point where I'm not going to talk about anything else on that or divulge any more details about that. But the chat filled. I invited this band onto the show on their premiere for their album. The chat immediately filled itself with the information that would be used technically as an interview. The problem with this is all of that information that I would have extracted from the chat, put into an episode of learning about this band, would have been sourced from an unknown source. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe my very own eyes that I would have had to put an asterisk, sourced from the live chat on the premiere. Oh, that sounds cool. That sounds great. Settle for less much. Just literally, I already downgraded and settled for less by switching from live stream to recording videos of my guests.
now that that's become a problem, and I'm just reaching out over here, it's that this is the result. This is what's happening. And for you guys to hear that you couldn't get better news than this if you can understand what I'm saying. That not only is the information sourced from an unknown source, asterisk, sourced from the live stream of the most recent album premiere. Not only is that the case, but it's also something that would be a shitload of work, and simply just playing on the fact, whatever it is, this is a Vault of Doom podcast. This is definitely a story of some sort of doom, of some sort, doom being like, from whatever you want to say, the fairies, the demons, the devil, whatever it is, me broadcasting my reaction to that is a good explanation, if you want to resort to rationality, for why this stuff isn't being viewed by many people. I have to repeat that. If you want to resort to rationality, the sheer doom-like nature of what this content, what's in this content. I was actually looking at some of my own abilities to understand language and use language and words and linguistics earlier today, and saying to myself, I love that when I can catch myself kind of stumbling a little bit over words like content, and then I love that when I can be astonished by the reason why it's called content, that you have to work around it and think of other ways of describing it and other ways of interacting with it and being immersed inside of it, where I can't say the content that it contains. The content already has it set up that it's contained. The content is contained. The root word being C-O-N-T, content and contain. So therefore, it's a little bit of my brain overloaded, sort of, but I do this. This is what I do. So, like, I'm not overloaded here. I'm just overloaded under everyday interactions, or going out at daytime. I'm now forced to be an actual vampire. I can only come out at nighttime now and shit. And, that's fun stuff for me. I can even say that's every once in a while. I could just say that, and that's fun for me. I could just be like, hey, I'm saying this, and it's my reality. It's true. It's scary. It's doomy. It's gloomy. It's depressing, but it's fun for me, I guess, or something. If only there was just some genre of music that would be perfect for this type of character. Oh, there is, and I am. Okay, all right. Anyway, back to what I was saying. You can clearly see the doom here. I mean, it's this thing, whatever it is. I'm not going to resort to rationality, but you could perceive that I'm resorting to practicality and rationality here when I say that I refuse to call it some sort of supernatural or supranatural thing on the context of how I'm describing it and explaining it and talking about it right now. I will use those words and use that context under the context of I'm writing a song about it or something like that. And even then, just like anybody that is in the war zone right now, experiencing that, being inspired to write some heavy music about it, not feeling comfortable with writing music about war in the middle of a war zone when a bomb could go off on your house at any time. It's just the same thing, except on the different part of the planet. And it is a free country, so I'm led to believe, as it stands right now. So, as far as I'm concerned, I'm okay. The only part that I'm not okay at is just that I'm explaining in great detail and seemingly have it all figured out so well to a T. Nobody can seem to be able to lend their help or step in. They can't get a word in edgewise, as I'm not requiring words. I'm handling all the words so that you don't have to. I'm asking for the support on kind of come back down, man. Come down, man. Sit down, man. Come back to reality a little bit here. Look at what this is. You know, I mean, for me, in doing that for you, I can't do that part for you, but I find myself attempting to do so anyway with what I'm saying here, on my explorations, and then my feelings and attitudes towards what I'm seeing. And this is different than that. This is not an attitude towards what I'm seeing. This is a attempt to invite somebody on the show, and then the chat fills itself with the information that would have been on the show. It did work on the last interview. The last interview that I conducted was that's how I found them. I invited them on in the chat. We carried out the rest of the actual official invite on a more private form of communication, but I started by inviting them on the chat first. So this freaked me out a little bit. It still does. It still does freak me out, except for that I'm still sitting here talking about it. And it helps a little bit. Helps a great deal. That these things happen at all is something entirely unacceptable, as there is no other option other than to arrive at the solution. I'm gonna John Wick style hit this on the head and just say, you killed my dog, you killed my podcast, now I'm gonna switch it from John Wick and Keanu Reeves to Liam Neeson and Taken, and I have a very particular set of skills. I will find you and I will kill you. You know, it's like that sort of thing. It's like well, this is how I'm actually handling. Granted, I am very fortunate. I do not take for granted. I do not take for granted that I'm very fortunate to have this platform and this orifice to spew the guts of all this stuff. What it's cutting into is my creativity a little bit. It costs me. I have to sacrifice a little bit of my creativity. I have to expend some of the time that I would otherwise be spending on painting portraits of despair, regular despair. Painting some portraits of regular despair in order to do this type of, basically it's investigative journalism. At the cost of me doing my thing. Doing my thing that I actually have fun with and all that stuff. This is the new fun. I'm adulting here. But I have to keep them both. I have to use them both. And obviously I need some kind of moderator. I need somebody here to pull me back and say this and say that and all this other stuff. Anyway, no response was given in the chat. The response was given in the chat, all right. I take that back. The response was given in the chat in the form of, well, you want to do an interview? Here's all the information you need. I mean, the band was saying all the stuff about the album that I would have asked, or that would have been featured on my show. It's literally a nobody move, nobody get hurt. This is a robbery. That's literally what it is. I mean, evidently you can't just mosey on into a chat room and invite people onto your podcast anymore without being robbed of the experience. That's because that's literally what happened just an hour ago, and it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that I have to seemingly following up with that. Seemingly relish in the discussion of this. I'm seemingly relishing in this. I am not enjoying this. I'm not relishing in this. And it just likewise, I'm not astonished by content being a word so cunningly labeled, so cunningly being the widely agreed label for what everyone else is doing, of the same nature, of the same context, pretext, of the same premise, that I have to get more crafty now with how I'm describing what my content is. It's music world content. Other people that I won't be spending time on exploring will be smithy and metal craft content, where it's interesting, it's cool. I like welding, it's a cool hobby. I like having this stuff. Do I need to let all these, in all honesty, do I need to let all these other cool little things that I like and hobbies that I like on the side, do I need to let all those fall by the wayside? Because I'm already sacrificing my creative side to do this, get down to the truth side? Because that sucks. I like welding. Actually doing welding, watching people weld, talking about welding. I was in a bar the other day talking to a guy about welding. He's a welder. I was like, wow, that's cool, I tell you what I can't do, and what people are, their reptile, their lizard brain is gonna warn them about. Well, careful, this guy might invite you on his podcast. It's hilarious. It's hilarious as hell. But it's a requirement for me in my position to be able to not come at you. It is, maybe I can learn something from this too. I don't know. Is to not come at you. Is that we're drinking buddies. We drink beer together. We hang out together. We spend time together. We have private conversations with each other. We protect each other's privacy, respect each other's boundaries, etc., so on and so forth. Then you can make jokes about, careful, he might invite you on his podcast. But for the whole New World Order, one world government, lizard brain, we're all connected shit, to be not getting on my nerves, serving as literally just a canker sore. It's just a mere nuisance. Nothing more than a mosquito bite. No big deal. That's a prerequisite. It should be common sense. It is for me. It is common sense for me. And obviously, it's not common sense for everybody else. And as a result, I have to experience it, get frustrated by it, and eventually talk about it later. Now, with that being a serious problem presented, I can only do what I can do, and then I can only talk about as much of it as I can talk about, and then eventually I have to move on and get back onto schedule, get back onto the script, and sit down, man. Come back to reality. I actually have to stand up. I can't freaking sit down right now. I have to get some of that restless leg. I know that podcasts are supposed to be this and all this other stuff, but that's another thing. I can throw that can of worms on over to the other cans of worms in my bomb shelter. Like if you were to now if you were to have a bomb shelter, and then you just to prepare for the apocalypse and the end of the world, and then you just have shelves upon shelves of cans of worms. Are these going to provide sustenance? Can you survive on cans of worms in the end of days? Methinks no. And ancient astronaut theorists postulate no. But those other things that could be really picked up after on with this thing that just happened this morning, is really just a expressing the problem of being desensitized to this type of to these type of scenarios. That at first I'm posting the videos, the episodes of the show and the videos are available up for when I'm scheduling interviews with other artists, and it's a scheduled event. It's in my calendar. The artist agrees to it, and then they back out on me. That at first I jump on right away, and I feel really a great deal of indignation about this. Whereas now it's evolved to, well, I seem to have it under control. It seems like I have it under control. I seem to have handled it really well. And the answer is, well, you're gonna have to start spending more time now, really looking into whether if this is true or not. And that's where the worlds collide at that point. Then the worlds collide between you cannot lose your fire. I cannot lose my fire and lose my indignation on this scenario that's happening, and I cannot continue thinking that I have it under control and just do whatever, try to get as much done as I can in one place and at one time, and just so I can rush off to the pub and have a pint with the pals, and then continue griping and moaning and harping about not having enough time to find a new significant other, my main squeeze, and a new pal. So jump to a commercial break, I say. Yeah, that's great that I have commercial breaks of music that I made, not commercials of anything. But hey, it does sound cool. It would be pretty cool if there was something like that, but there isn't. There's just this. history of horror that echoes throughout time. Well, now here we have the episode to continue here. Well, you can watch me pace back and forth, surrounded by the trees that are still green for right now. There's some. These trees leaves look like they stay green. I'm seeing some. I mean, this is a cool thing to do. But I guess, it's a cool thing to have around. It's very impractical for the show, but it's a cool thing to do, have around it. There appears to be some yellowing. Some of the leaves turning a bit yellow. And as for the rest of them for right now, they still look green. It still looks like they just stay green until they just fall off. But on the ground here, you can see all the stuff is these are dead leaves that have fallen on the ground. So what I'm talking about is different. What I'm talking about is that the color of the leaves changing for this time of year, autumn, fall. You got some orange, you got some yellows, you got some reds. And seeing the swaying back and forth in the background is cool. As I have to just pace back and forth a little bit here, and you can watch me as got a couple things going on here at the same time, I guess, or something. I'm gonna do the official introduction for this episode here. It's Troll in the Dungeon. Troll in the Dungeon. I am the troll, and this is not a dungeon. This is Vault of Doom, and I'm going to troll the Vault of Doom. I don't know if I have to educate. I don't know if I have to assume the responsibility of educating everybody on lingo, especially since it's kind of nice the way that I naturally come across. How, IMO, in my opinion, or IYYK, if you know, you know, all this stuff. Trolls, just it's nothing more than a bit of a short inconvenience for me to just say something like trolls are just people that check out your profile too much, or that make you feel uncomfortable when they're watching your profile or something like that. That's all a troll is. So I'm technically uncomfortable with trolling my profile, but there's a lot of stuff that's on here that has to be reemphasized. I'm basically, it's for me, I guess. It's just to remind myself. It's all just for me to just remind myself here of what kind of content that I have on here. Content being in the format of photographs, videos, short videos, reels. That's it. There is no other format of mine. I'm sure there's bunches of other ones. If I wanted to get real spiteful, I could just research what are some other really trippy formats of content that people create. Maybe there's VR. There's probably plenty of VR streamers, and they're just, hey, check out now you're really immersed and you're inside of my podcast zone and VR style. But I that's neither here nor there. I don't have time to worry about all that stuff, as I'm too busy really taking ownership and being really proud of the stuff that I have out right now. And let's get into it. Let's get into it, crack into it, just like a juicy, delicious, whatever you're drinking. Tea, coffee, beer, whiskey. So crack open that thing or whatever it is. Maybe wine. Maybe you're a wine drinker. even if you hate wine. Just every once in a while, you got a cave. Sturdiest bridge is first one to break. Go get some wine. Pop open a bottle, that thing, and enjoy it. Even if you hate wine. That these profiles are gonna start with threads. So here it is. My name, my handle, and my bio. It's the only social media profile that has a very short, sweet, to the point, and concise bio. With this bio being just I am, my name, and then cool badass shit with my Linktree, and then just letting you know my Cashtags on X. If you want to go hop on down to X, throw some cash my way. So then, scrolling on down here to the first few posts, we have me inviting, immediately after that thing I was telling you about, immediately after, I just hopped right back on the horse and invited somebody else on there. So it's on here. That was an hour ago, no response yet. But I've got 2 handfuls, if not 15 or 20 people invited onto the show, floating around up in the air. So out of those 15 and 20, it's like going fishing. Just sitting back fishing, throw my line out into the water, and eat some good fish tonight. So we'll see. So the thing that's going on there, we'll see what's going on there, and then. Most recent episodes of the show I share on Threads and X immediately after adding the tags. So there's the most recent 2, 64, episode 64, episode 65, episode 63 was added just on the general page, the general channel link, with all the people featured on there tagged. No responses at all. We got a guy on here too that's interested in being on here, and he's like, I'm interested, just need the details. I'm like, it's best we podcast here. The details are, this is the link to the show. Go check it out. It sucks that I have to compare it to some sort of a salesman style attack or tactic, where I'm saying something like this, that, you know, schedule with me and let's get started, and if you'd rather not, DM me. This isn't even the content. I don't even know what I'm doing. Let me actually get to the actual content here. As I said, I am taking ownership of this stuff that I put out, and I'm very proud of it. So let me show you what it is. Mostly Threads is just straight interactions. So generally speaking, I can move from Threads unless I scroll down here and see if there's anything else I can find. Threads is just for you to see all the stuff that's on everywhere else. Threads is not. There isn't anything original that I have on Threads except for one collection of memories in the form of photographs, as well as what spawned from that, what came from that, like this type stuff that goes on my Instagram, and then everything shared on Instagram instantly goes here. But seeing people use the algorithms had me testing out the algorithm. So I'm finding people on here where they like this post, they're commenting on here, they're saying, yes, we have common interests, this and that. I mean, there's a whole chunk of stuff that I would be saying something if I wasn't there's a whole chunk of stuff that I would be saying something if I wasn't like already have the solution scheduled and planned and set in mind in my head. Like I plan, just like I'm already set. I'm already good. I'm just not rushing anything and doing anything on impulse. But this looks like an original photo. Well, I'm not sure. Anyway, let's go ahead and navigate out of here after showing you the exclusive collection, the exclusive photo collection that's on this profile is the only thing that this has. There's an exclusive collection on each one of the same category. It's a set of memories in the form of photographs that I specifically put this collection here, another collection on X, and another collection on Instagram, so that each one has its individual set of collections of these very special memories. So I don't know which one is which. And in other words, I can't tell you ahead of time because I don't know. I can't tell you something I don't know. But this is what it's called, is selfie dump on this one. It's called selfie dump. So it's selfies. Not going to go through the stories of all this stuff. I'm just going to read what I wrote. In order: throwing up the horns, rocking badass sunglasses, drinking Guinness in a copper-lined Starbucks coffee milk. The copper is important to witches. Doing black metal stuff, smoking cigarettes, and throwing up more horns. Let it roar. So before that is where the collection started, but that is the end of that collection. I actually was mistaken when I said anything that came from it. But these other two posts are where this platform has the exclusive photographs of a previous guitar with the info on there, and then the tags and the people being tagged, a couple people like that, drawing that I did of something, obviously tattoo style, and then, you know, I've seen a lot of videos and photographs and profiles of people sharing stuff, so then I go and I post something that sort of mirrors it or resembles it a little bit. And luckily I'm not a scientist, so I have like a whole gap of time to, you know, if I'm a good boy and respectful, that I have a whole gap of time to actually talk about what I want to talk about. But before those, we have that. This is actually an exclusive sapling photograph. Named it after something, but this is the beginning of the collection, with just two old photos of me as a youngster, and look at it and look at me side by side, and then the hashtag friendship, because that's where these photos were taken. It was with friends, among friends. And that is that, and that is the end of that social media platform. Next up, what we have here, oh, luckily it didn't need to refresh. It just went straight into it. Is well, the Instagram, my fave, my personal fave, the Instagram. Before we close off with X, that this is the content that my Instagram has. I have to separate these between time frames. But I also have to start with that same photo dump that was mentioned in the collection of each individual one. The photo dump collection of threads was my guitar, selfies, and that's it. The photo dump here on Insta is, well, it looks like, me in the studio. So this Instagram being better, having its own individual one and whatever Threads has. That this is just me in the studio. Old pictures. These are photo dumps because they're old pictures. A ladies' man post, me with not all of them are my girlfriend, but they're girls that were friends. And then my first music video that I ever made. This used to be my profile picture on X. Look at the goatee style, just rocking that goatee. Kind of missing that, but not really though. I really am not missing that at all. I like that I rocked that goatee style for so many years that now that I'm doing this, it feels great. It feels amazing to have. And then I got the mala beads on there. I think I had probably just had that tattoo a couple of years prior to that. And in like a 5-star, or not 5-star, 5-star hotel. In like a 4-star hotel and shit. And then this shit is not the photo dump, not the collection. This is the individual photo dump for Instagram. Me and my dreadlocks. Writing lyrics and in the studio again. And then we get into what exclusive content is also available here on this social media platform of the Lion's Den of Doom. So when the podcast was called The Lion's Den and then changed into The Vault of Doom, this artwork of like a beheading is drawn, trophies, some grotesque stuff, just random, very witchy, like voodoo style, the Pope being assassinated, with hey, when you're drawing pictures of the Pope being assassinated, nothing compliments that more than a lotus flower or something like that. And the artwork here being it's like barbed wire, thorns, and just outright atrocious type drawing. But it has a whole narrative written about it with all these being added into just really elementary, looking like looking like anybody that would look at this and not read the narrative, and then get the wrong idea, get the total wrong idea here if you don't read the narrative. And I can't realistically expect people to read the narrative, honestly. I can't realistically expect, as meaningful as my art is to me, I am super realistic that you can't expect people to read the narrative. And my eyes seeing this, what my eyes are seeing, is not the same thing as what other people's eyes are seeing. So me needing to hear what other people have to say about it is not a matter of let me venture off into the world and start asking people, hey, look at my art, what do you think? But more just a matter of like waiting it out, or spend a whole shitload of time, and then eventually I'll get somebody to see. It's once again just something I haven't, not once again as in doing this again, not once again as in I'm gonna say this again, because I haven't said this yet, but I have done this already, where I draw these things and then years and years later I could take them, download them, onto whatever other device if I have to, take a screenshot of them, muddy it all up and add a bunch of cool filters that just make it almost literally impossible to can't even, I wouldn't be able to tell you what it is if I tried, I could, you know, type of thing. But for right now, we have something like this that Lindsay Schoolcraft, a previous member of Cradle of Filth, commented on it. She likes it. She didn't comment on it, as far as I know, I don't think, but she liked it on X. And it's cool because it's real art. It means nothing nowadays, honestly, and I'll be perfectly honest with myself. It means nothing at all nowadays. Like, it's that just, what I just said right now, that just sounds like an old, washed up has-been that refuses to get with the times. And then a savior in that scenario, as if anybody wanted to be saved over here, would be like a stand-up comedy scenario. I'll just drop everything, start doing stand-up comedy, and it's like, well, if anybody can fucking see where this is going, or see what the fuck this is, allow this little reel here to allow me to hush zip it for a second, just to zip it. Just like you saw a heart with a zipper in the middle of it a second ago. You could watch this, like I'm physically demonstrating for you how some of this stuff was created, and it'll help me zip it for a second. Anyway, that's enough zipping it. I can't take it anymore, and I am unable to, not unwilling, but am unable to comment on this, tell you what materials was used in here, as it removes from the experience. And that's a terrible thing to happen. Anywho, at any rate, this was as a finished product, be right back, break time, and stream starting soon message for the live streams. That served as, I could talk about what I used it for, what it became at the end result, but I'd prefer not to narrate of what this materials was, that it was black nail polish and a Sharpie on a thin piece of wood, but the thing serving for cleanliness, especially post-COVID. At least the intention was there for cleanliness, but it was anytime I'm out in public using my phone and setting up all my electronics on this plank of wood so that my electronics aren't getting dirty or my electronics aren't touching. It's a two-way street. It's both ways. That my phone, if it's dirty, is not dirtying the table at a restaurant, and then your table at a restaurant, if it's dirty, is not dirtying my phone. With this piece of plank of wood, that would just be a plank of wood or a piece of art, I am unable to say anything else as well, but not unwilling. So anyway, that's that, and then there's let's jump through the Fast and the Furious over here and find out what other content's in here. You get on Instagram stuff that actually happens in my daily life. The removal of using anybody else's artwork for any reason whatsoever has just monumentally occurred yesterday. These are the photographs from X, pulled from X. Not going to use them. You could always ask for credits. It's like I'm choosing to do this at whatever the right time, whatever. What is time anyway? But a persistent time is an illusion, albeit a persistent one. Albert Einstein quote looking ass. those photos shared on here. The most recent artwork is something that can't be described to a non-audience. There's no one there. But there's two of them. So before that, we have something cool that I could find the community, find some seed groups to share this with. Before that, we have something of a sneak peek into a future music video. It's got my first post of original audio. With a lot of people posting original audio, I started to say to myself, well, you know, I need my own music on my posts. I don't listen to enough of everybody else's music to add in everybody else's music all the time on my stuff, so I need my own stuff and I need original audio. Speaking of not using other people's photographs, not using their music either, is another point I'm emphasizing. And good job, me. That's a win. That's a win for Team Mickey Gemini. Daily life, other stuff here, you know, just curated this thing, got here, sew this up. Oh, that's cool. It's like I'll say things like this at a bar. This is safe stuff to talk about at a bar. Like, yeah, like check this out. Like I did the details on this grip tape here, and then this is how the grip tape naturally fell. It's like, it's safe to talk about it, but people don't care about that there. So whatever, you know, just continue the madness, and the chaos and bedlam that is post-COVID planet Earth. Or if you wish to refer to it as whatever you wish to refer to it as, this is one that even though I need to know what it's like on your phone, as far as my phone goes, it's two pentagrams that are, one is right side up. This pentagram is right side up in the sun. When the sun hits my screen, I could see the right side up one. When I take the sun away, I could see the inverted pentagram better if it's in the shade. But that's a original creation completely. I drew all of it. The paper that it was used on is sourced from the material. The paper that it was drawn on was sourced from money that I paid for whatever, bought from a corporation of some sort, I guess. And I mean, just you see these optical illusions on some people's memes. This is a completely natural, completely original optical illusion, and it just so happens to be the podcast's current logo. So you won't need to worry or hurry and rush anywhere with haste making waste, as this is the current one, and season 5 just pretty much just cracked into just a few episodes a few days ago. So it's like no rush, no big deal. These other photos that I want to work into, there's a selfie, how I want to do it. I want to do it like this. I'm just scrolling through. There's some food. There's the most recent album. There's cool stuff. Middle Finger album before that. There's me and my makeup. Another selfie with my makeup. Cleaned out. You might have noticed you didn't notice on Threads, so you ain't gonna notice here either. Actually, I'm just gonna leave it at that. But these are mostly like my daily life, where I can basically be free to feel free to express myself without too much ego fogging things up. This is the largest major metropolitan area I live near, and these are some photographs of some of the artwork in there. Oh no, these are travels. These are photos of my most recent travels. Should have a watermark on there. It doesn't have the watermark, so let me see if I added the credits myself. No, I didn't add the credits on there. I'd have to probably do that. But shows you where I went. And I say, I always up and travel around, coming and going whenever I so please, like a cat. Lone wolf style. Hashtag lone wolf style. Cat emoji. Travels 2023. Hashtag biking. Hashtag America. Hashtag North America. And so, my friends, that's another album cover. This one is supposed to be this one was supposed to be the artwork for the single, but the single turned out to be a demo single. It was actually a demo single. This is fittingly the only single I'm proud of after all of the songs that I've made. Under this context of super hermetic, triple hermetic circle style with it. And it's really hard for me to describe all this content with me doing it like this. I gotta say, as interesting as this is, I kind of just cancel out whatever effect that is intended upon doing all this. So hey, that's what these highlights are for. These highlights here being 2023, 2024, 2024 part 2, Walt of Doom, and Adulting. And these are not the same as my saved collections. My saved collections are where I have to get into. These are photos I'm tagged in. And this is like when I first started the dreads. And I got the cool stuff in there and everything, and I was featured on Dreadorable. And that's another thing people do. Other people feature other people on their profiles. And then I want to go and do something like, well, am I comfortable or am I not comfortable with like checking them out, see how they're doing? Probably not. I'm probably not comfortable checking them out and seeing how they're doing. But hey, whatever. And then tagged in here with the bingo, metal bingo. I don't know why this is separate than the actual post. Unless it's not. No, it's not. Yeah, it's the same post. So I've got the people that I could tag in here tagged. And then there's one other person. I was looking to see if there's anyone else I could tag. I just can't remember. And the person that I can't remember and wanted to tag, I couldn't find them. Either they don't want to be tagged, they don't allow you to tag them unless you follow them or you follow each other, or she just doesn't have a profile. But I tagged who I could tag in here, including the Grinch himself, as this was Christmas time, and you could see Mr. Grinch. He's a Grinch. That's who that is. That's the Grinch. He's green. He's a green guy. And so, that looks like, also I was perusing through my stuff actually one day, and I said, I'm going to make my bio uniform. The same on Threads, the same on X. Alright, on Instagram. Not the case with all the other stuff, because the Threads and Instagram are the same thing. But these are all separate from, this is, as I said at the beginning, this is my fave. And these are all separate than the one we're going to get into right now. X. Where I have to, I don't have to navigate to my profile. This is my X profile. By the way, thank you guys for trolling. If you happen to like the content you're viewing right now, or any of the other previous stuff, and you stumbled across this button right up on top here of my X takes you to your Cash App, and it will make it real easy and convenient for you to send me money on Cash App. Now let's talk a little bit about X here, as we got my selfie that's curated for the banner. The banner is a selfie, it's two selfies of my head being like Janus, that used to be on a Greek currency. That is Janus, the god of two heads, where he can see in both directions at the same time. Cool thing to have. That's another cool thing to have around, I guess, right? Anyway, I'm under the category of musician, location, United States. You can open up my podcast, the Spotify version of this podcast that for now is different than this YouTube version. It says I joined this November of last year, so I joined a year ago. But I've been on X. I've had a very strange relationship with X since its inception. Honestly, I was very anti-Twitter when I first started Twitter, all those years ago. That I was extremely anti-Twitter. I didn't like Twitter from the fact that it was too fast-paced. It was just too much going on that I couldn't focus on and concentrate on. I've always been a musician. I've always been making and recording music and singing music, but when I'm focusing on the recording process of being a musician and then making physical copies of demos and handing them out and handing CDs out to people, to my friends, so that they can listen to them in their car before this whole fucking online shit went crazy like it is right now, I had no use for Twitter. It was just posting constant babble, constant fucking bullshit that did not mean anything to me. But now, X has become cool and has become a useful tool for me, as it's sort of returning the favor by reducing the followers. I had 10 more followers last week, and now I've lost 10 followers from most of those followers being fake accounts. That's why. They were fake accounts from the beginning, so it once again, it's just going to be an endless loop of it means nothing to me. They were fake accounts when they have at symbol, numbers, a group of numbers, and then your name being put in reverse order, like last name first, then first name last. That's a fake account until they change it. Unless it's not, and unless they change it, or unless they don't change it and they just leave it there, you're still considered a fake account until you customize it. So with these being the last parts of my social media profiles that I'm going to show you before we get into the actual content that you can kick back and drink beer with your friends with, I make stuff on YouTube that you could put on the TV at a party, a small party with finger sandwiches and tea and crumpets. And bourbon sandwiches. While I just sit here and be a fucking asshole, drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes and vaping, and not tagging the vape juice that I'm vaping. I'll tag the vape juice I'm vaping when I'm fucking comfortable, damn well ready. It's no wonder I'm not sponsored. There's just there's just a certain sense of humor that I subscribe to, being an ownership, taking ownership of, that you have to be keen to if you don't want to be totally appalled and offended. You could even pick and choose which one you want to be offended by. You want to be offended by the little jokes that I sneak in there, or do you want to be offended by Lewis Carroll the Cannibal and all those other videos and stuff like that? I was really glad to hear too that song sounded like the end of the world. It sounded like that the creator of the sample that I added into that song said it sounded like the apocalypse, and I was very glad to hear that. So I tagged him in there, and he didn't respond to the tagging, but he also didn't respond to the permission that I asked until I sent a follow-up message. I asked permission, didn't get a response, and then I sent a follow-up message of some sort, and then I was given permission to sample him in that song. It's just more important to add the sample in and create the actual song than it is to get a response from having shout out to him. All I did was shout out. It's not as important as creating the actual song. It's important that I took the initiative. It's not important that I get a response. So there's the top banner here. It just says what I am, other than musician, creator of this production company, host of this podcast, metal musician for this band, this current project. And if I sort through the way I want to, we're just gonna jump straight to media. All my recent, as I said, all the recent podcasts go on here. I sent a GIF to Metal Blade and Cannibal Corpse. Of Hank Hill. Whoa! It's the best. It's the best freaking thing ever. Whoa! The best thing that anybody could ever say. You know, like if you died and went to heaven, or died and went to hell, and you had to answer to somebody, they're like, "What? Explain yourself." I would be like, "Whoa!" Or, "Ah!" It's like my own version of Hank of the Hill. So recent episodes up there. My comments are not. This is not a comment. This is a caption. This is an actual post. This is not a comment. This is a post of a band I was listening to recently. Here's a typo I made that I just left it. I just left the typo. I was like, whatever, man, leave the typo. People know what you mean when you usually. If you make one typo in a four-word sentence, you know what I meant. Hashtags for the most recent music video from the current project I'm working on, and a share from the Instagram, the link to something about mental health that I think I posted after seeing somebody say something about their mental health and all this stuff. It was Native American Heritage Pride Month Day or something like that when I posted this, as these are Native American words. It's just some stuff I really can't comment on it. No comment. Just hashtag native. I'm not native, but whoever created this was native, is native. So it's featured, it's going to be featured in something. And as wrong as that may be, it's what you do afterwards that really matters. If it's wrong. Dancing cat GIF. Replying to a post from Kitchen Chaos. The most absolute, most immersed in, integrated in all social media, all live streams artist, where to the point where I can get an interaction, albeit an unfavorable and unsavory. He's on all these social medias and all these live streams doing it right, doing the thing, and then just busy as a dancing cat GIF. Recent one here, inside joke. As the screen dims, I'll leave you guys off with a commercial break and gather myself. finishing up this episode, I'm back. Finishing up this episode is going to be a delight because finishing up the episodes are always my favorite. I like to think that starting stuff is my favorite, or finishing stuff is my favorite. Anyways, I don't know where I was going with that. Anyways, World Animal Day, because no animals were harmed in the memeing of these visuals I said about this Mimi Bark song Abyss. I mean, I have a song Abyss, she has a song Abyss. I don't know, she's hot, I'm hot, we're hot to trot, too hot to handle, whatever. Fucking new music video released that day. There's the so I've only really followed up with the sharing of the music video twice then, I guess. And free open game, lay it on me, tagging these guys. Now these guys had something happen. I don't know what the fuck happened, and I shared what I do know about what happened from my perspective, and then all I could do now at this point is just meet people later that will tell me something, and then I will have have hosted them on the show, and then we'll talk about it on there. But I'm not going to be clouded up and polluting up and fogging up my head and fogging up my mind here with what people have to say about what happened with this bar. But something happened with this bar. So the world may never know. I don't know. When it comes to me and things that matter to me, I will find out. New podcast up, screenshot of that coming soon. Let's see, that was 2 weeks ago. So we got 2 weeks out from the announcement of this recent music video. The LP for that project. The LP, that's the LP for the current project, the music video coming up for either that project or a different one, and then the LP for certain different project. So adding this demo track that has 15 views, that's where the demo track here, it running 1 minute and 51 seconds or something like that, has been shared. It's been liked by one person, shared with someone that runs a podcast that I want the song featured on their show, and then reviewing it later. I just literally can't get the volume levels right from where I'm at with all this sound pollution and everything else, and then the distorted perception of things, because I'm listening to it the first time, I'm like, alright, that sounds perfect, even though I just slopped shit together and thrusted it out. I needed to freaking listen to it again. Said no, I can't hear the guitars the right way, but it does sound, in all actuality, it does sound decent, so it's whatever. And having it featured on another show, you know, that's where my time is going to go if I'm not sitting here doing this, is scouting out all the other underrated podcasts to be like, hey, let me be on your show. Let me be on your show. Let me feature my music on your show. Let me find another way of supporting us under this sub-level of podcasters. And shout out if you want to be on the show. Some big band making a really big deal with their making a really big deal of an album had me sharing it. I shared my thoughts on there. I shared my thoughts on the comments on the video. Shared my thoughts there. No response there. But we're going to get into the content that I'm providing on here. So I don't have any highlights. It looks like verified only for highlights anyway. Articles, write articles, subscribe. Get verified for highlights, subscribe for articles. The media that I'm on here is what I just covered. That the media that I'm posting on here I can have a safe space to at least slightly entertain some sort of ego. Realistically entertain the idea of a healthy ego here on X. The one that I didn't like for all those years. And so I post photos of me out feeding some animals. Basically a be right back message for the podcast. So it's kind of uncommon for me to post a photo of an outing on here, but this is an outing that I had. I posted a photo of it. Just hashtag animals. Some more of the albums. The music video collection. A special presentation. The music video collection on here of a few songs. All promotional songs. Nowhere, literally have nowhere to go. The promotional video here showing all the new stuff that's out. It's the way I put this together that makes this artful and creative, but it's that very same thread of artful creativity that is cringe. It's absolute cringe, because I'm not using any of the apps and paying for subscriptions for any of the apps or supporting AI. I can't use hashtag AI and then give other people other than me the credit. It poses a threat to this is not a statement I'm making of the world is against me. This is a statement of making of I completely understand why you coax hordes of sheep into a FEMA camp and coax hordes of Jews and Polacks into a concentration camp in Nazi Germany with the idea of protecting their safety. But that's exactly what this is. Well, it's not quite safe to do this without us being responsible. You're going to want us to be held responsible if you screw something up. And that leads to a whole nother excellent digression that I can get off my chest here. Just randomly throw it in here. It's one of the reasons why I like making my content the way that I make it too. Because I can have the freedom to do that, even if it's dangerous. Even if it means it'll be worse, just dig a deeper hole. That I'm thinking about something I heard on a podcast yesterday about the way that Spotify and all these streaming sites are giving all the money to the bigger people up top. Whether this could be confirmed or not, it makes perfect sense that I can spend a whole chunk of thought into it and be done with it in that moment. I could be done with it in the same moment that I'm thinking about how you'll have a bunch of fucking people that are way high up on the 10 million views, 10 million listens, 10 million plays and clicks on Spotify, that they get all the money and all the lower guys don't get any of the money. That it would make no sense for them to feed on everything, but what it is a separation. It's a separation between the people who have all the 10,000 views, 10 million views, and people who don't. So that means where you are right now is the separation not just in the platform itself of Spotify, but that means that where you are right now, physically, and in your mental space and in your ambitions and goals to get, if you have the initial goal and ambition to gain millions of followers, millions of views, that you are being pitted up against then everybody else who has the same goal in mind, and that you have to fight them. And it's a separation between Spotify and at the end of it all being just nothing but all popular artists and popular songs, and then all of us creatives here at the bottom, even if you're one of the locals with millions of views, you could have thousands of views and followers and this big following in the creative domain of music specifically, there will be no more authenticity left, no more people being able to actually sleep at night without sleeping pills from how we're so pitted up against each other. Anyway, that's, like I said, all in one moment. That's a whole golden nugget of truth right there that you could even dissect, break apart, take a small piece of that, and just make a whole episode about that even, and then make it a presentation style. You know, take screenshots of some of the data and analytics and statistics you find and back up what you're saying. I'm just throwing them out there as sentiments. Call it what you want, pearls before swine, this and that, call it whatever. I fucking don't care. I'm here right now. This is what I'm doing right now. The end. But this stuff is how I do it. This stuff is undeniably original, and I can't be inconvenienced with some of the stuff that I am inconvenienced with, like the copyright issues, or the, like a bunch of junk being thrown into my podcast, like you know, having to end up feature a bunch of fucking people on there and their profiles that are unknowingly on my show. Like, they don't know that their profiles and that their posts are unknowingly on my show, and then I tag them on there, and then I'm not even getting any response from it. It's like, Well, this is cool. I mean, I literally took a screenshot of the encoding of a track of the EP, of the full EP, when I recorded basically the mastered version. It's not a mastered version of the album, but it's basically a mastered version of the album. Added it into all the stuff that's recently added in. Just threw a bunch of scribbles in there. It's a promotional video showing you what's out. And then there's like the introduction of the sounds that I'm creating. With the sounds that I'm creating are the sounds you're hearing in the background, and then what looks like whatever and shit like that. This is a tip of the hat and a slight nod to the way that art used to be created prior to this, what's going on right now with this blow up and explosion of everybody's just making an AI. Make me an AI generated fucking platypus theme song. The platypus theme song, blah 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 blah. And then you're surviving and thriving on views, clicks, monetization, and you can go watch the new fucking Ghost movie right here, right now with the funds, for a little while until the I don't know, shit hits the fan or whatever, or you get discouraged. I don't know, but I'm still here, and I'm definitely still talking about the content that I make and what's on here on my X. With my stuff I'm making here. I called this a visualizer on one of the tracks, a couple of the featured tracks, and it technically is a visualizer. I'm making the visualizers that I'm able to make right now without any inconvenience to me, and with the extreme inconvenience of everybody surrounding me that I pitted up against. I'm not gonna get DistroKid, upload my stuff to Spotify just to be thrown to the wolves. You know, I'm signing a death wish there. You know, getting my music out there is totally a concept that's open to interpretation. Getting my music out there. So getting your music out there and then throwing it to the wolves, or, you know, I'm definitely not going to be that douchebag that says these things to you personally. I'm going to be just like everybody else and hide behind my video camera and hide behind my phone when I say these things, and then go walk around and you won't even know that it was me, or you will know it's me, and hey, you're that guy that said that one thing, get his ass, you know, or something like that. I don't know, but but something has to be said about these things when you freaking don't care to spend time on this. I don't care to spend time on these things and talking about these things, entertaining these ideas, keeping these things alive by saying it. I'll simply just say it as like in jest, and then push it off to the side, like won't have to worry about it, like a one-time thing or something like that. And then I won't have to worry about it. But that energy has been put out there into the universe, and no, I don't want it back. No, I don't want to continue. It's like opposite Indian giving. Indian giving, when you're an Indian giver, you like give somebody something and then you take it back. Like, I need that back. Well, the opposite of Indian giving is like, I'm giving you something and you're not going to you're not going to tell me no. You will not refuse what I'm giving to you. And then it's likewise too. I'm not even going to care. I'm not going to care. I don't have to care. Anyway, there's so many levels to this shit that I can't possibly balance this many levels of thought. That ultimately is what this all really actually amounts to. But this is just me announcing another new demo coming out. It's 5 tracks that were released. I released those whenever that promo video that I showed you came out. So that was August 14th to September. So it took a 30-day time frame to put out a demo for that. This is useful analytics for me and helping me, produce better quality shit, even though the shit's already pretty good quality with all things considered in its own right. Blah de blah de blah. Whoop-de-woo. Whoop-de-woo on the doo-wop. This, and this. And then this is another cool thing. It's like, commenting on my ego shit later. Nah. I'll take ownership of it, but commenting on it and taking ownership of it is not the same thing. Well, it looks like here I just took a screenshot of what I had in my notes for upcoming stuff. Re-releases. I did do the re-release of Undying and Lion's Den Productions. Best of Lion's Den Podcast Parts 1 through 4. Also available. These are completed as of now. I'm like worried. I'm like worried a little bit on the edge of my seat. Like, did I do this thing I said I was gonna do? Also available at the same channel, Voyage Indie Film. Also available. Those were all a fucking huge headache getting on there without verified phone number. Upcoming releases. That was released. The Twitch stream of the 28th of August was released. The DeviantArt premiere, that was set for September 8th. I think that was actually just very recently. It was the whole episode was titled it. And then I went into great detail about it. And then it was a fucking another thing that kind of goes into as well with some of the Instagram shit. And so these are updates. So these are the things that you'll find on my X. Updates for content, visualizer content, song content, podcast content. So random shit like this where I have a screenshot of a combo I had with AI, which is probably similar to something like GPT, but it's Instagram's version of it. I can say to AI, make me a song about what we talked about, and it won't work, but then it will when you emphasize enough that it won't work. And that pretty much wraps it up. We have the YouTube channel to get into, and that's real easy because it's all videos. They're all one format, and it's videos or audio, or only audio available in the video. So, with how much time that has been spent getting some things off my chest, getting some things, letting us know what's on my mind, and actually showing you what's on my profile, actually describing to you as well what's on my profile, we have led up to this moment here and this final coup de grace, or however it's actually pronounced, as I've heard it pronounced a different way. Meh, neither here nor there. Anyway, we have lots of videos to go through, and lots and so many channels, and I'm kind of keen to and intuitive to the fact that these are going to probably be lumped up into a much more concentrated, smaller frame of time than all that other stuff. So here from the start of this YouTube channel that this video is featured on, we have the self-help for aspiring songwriters, mental health techniques, 10-minute video, first episode of the show, and then as has been as from the very beginning, all the episodes uploaded out of order except for on the playlist. On the playlists, even if they're out of order, I can put them in order. The way that they're uploaded, the way that this is right now, I cannot change this, that they are out of order. So these are all in the same format as I'm doing it right now. Video format, on-screen recording. And it's a metal show. It's about metal. I'm talking about metal news that comes on my feed. I'm talking about metal news that comes on the news feed on the Google Discover. I'm talking about metal news that's going on with my current project. And I try to talk about local musicians, but I just can't find it. I just can't make it click. It just ain't happening, pal. So the visualizers are on these as it's audio only. These, just a photo, audio only. And that's the different varieties of video format you have. Audio only with visualizer, audio only with photo, and audio and video with on-screen recording. Where we are now, with the strong, very strong desire to just bring it back to live stream. I'm sitting with the person that I'm interviewing physically and all that stuff, and working with that. And that is all the stuff on here. But you have topics such as budget apps for beginner solo musicians as a bonus episode. You have topics such as how I make my ASMR. We're going to get to my ASMR channel. You have topics such as the breakdown of the Metal Hammer UK magazine, digital copy. So you can read the whatever I don't cover in the magazine issues, the issue of the magazine versions of the episode, you can read them on screen as I don't move too fast through them. Sometimes I stay still so you can read what's on there. And then all the first season not being really labeled at all. It's just labeled, spelled out for you. The first season is all spelled out for you, with nothing added in, just spelled out. And then here at season 3, that's where everything got Roman numerals only. and then started adding in what the topics were at the end. 4th season being Roman numerals, all the topics are added in. Metal genre jokesters, which I have to follow up on that here, because this is where I'm following it up on it with that Demu Bonger, some kind of stoner black metal thing, wound up on a fucking featured promotional site. Go figure. A promotional featured on a promotional YouTube channel. Go figure. That they could be taken seriously and that have all these views. It shouldn't be a surprise anymore that people like stupid shit. People only really use this to consume stupid shit. But it still does. It still does surprise me, because I don't, and there's plenty of people that don't just consume stupid shit. But it's just, you know, you can't oust it, you can't live with it, you can't live without it. As that gave me something to talk about for a second. To my audience, you know, am I broadcasting to a black hole? The beer episode, and just, you know, where am I sourcing? You know, if I had the gall to do so, I would be also asking stuff like, where am I sourcing my ideas from? Do I have, you know, if somebody wanted to interview me, they could ask me that question or something. They could be like, where are you sourcing your ideas from? But you have like an AI that's like, hey, generate me a new episode of the show. It's a metal show about, here's my name, here's the name of the show, it's about metal music, give me some new topics to think about, you know, and then it might make my life easier. But I just have a hard time believing that, so I probably won't. And even if I do believe it, it still ain't going to change the fact that I don't want to, so I probably won't. And as for the most recent episodes, we have the most recent Metal Hammer UK magazine breakdown. We have an interview with a band. We have the feed on these social medias. This episode is about my profile, trolling the dungeon, my profiles. And then that a few episodes ago, it was my feed and what other people have on there, and then walking through that, and then talking about some pretty personal stuff here that's just well documented on here. Just kind of witnessing the buildup of the frustrations until they eventually dissipate and dissolve and morph and change and turn into something else. But that's everything up to 2 weeks ago, where it's more than 2 weeks, but from 2 weeks ago I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. I have almost 20 episodes up in 2 weeks time. From 2 weeks ago, I have almost 20 episodes up here on this channel. So let's navigate over to some of the other stuff and see what the frequency is of content that I'm putting out over there. But you know what that channel has, and you know what this channel has right now. So this is some Tolkien stuff, talking about Tolkien, what could be found in this title. There is the music also contained in that title. Got a couple likes, got some feedback from that on X, and somebody shared that and they enjoyed that. We're glad that I put it out. They look for that stuff specifically, as they have a channel that's specifically just all about Tolkien. And then a few shorts here of basically some comedy stuff that just, I was like, well, alright, why not? I guess I'll do some fucking comedy shit over here. And then follow that up with in order here, comedy stuff, Tolkien stuff. My poetry performance is a collection of poems put into a 12-minute performance. That's a big deal to me, super big deal, as the poetry is already meaningful in and of itself. The performance of the poetry, all the set and setting are details that are important. That got a few likes. And then the artwork featured on here has some artwork that someone else made that I tagged them in. I featured their artwork in there. And then everything else is also my own art featured on my DeviantArt profile. That was premiered here on the last YouTube channel. It's a different YouTube channel. This is my YouTube channel. After that we have guitar hacks, songwriting exercises, screaming exercises, good things to comment, something I wanted to comment on, good things to do in the recording studio, basically covering other people's music, my reaction, basically a reaction video, my only reaction video of the Gojira playing at the Olympics. Got a like here on Hail Satan for a podcast, satanic podcasts that I goof off with these guys. I just listen to these guys. I get some education going on, and turn this into the education station, and then freaking goof off with these guys. It's a great time, and then afterwards, more guitar hacks, screaming hacks. Then I get into camping basics as I'm camping. Good studio habits, part 2. These are all hashtags, so it's a little hard to read if you're not whatever, but there's still some views on there. Followed by guitar hacks, finger exercises, straight hitting you with the surprise feature of some yoga that I fit all in 1 minute. I'm actually going to feature this one on this episode. I'm going to show you.
I'm Mickey Gemineye. It's the end of the day here in Chicago. And I like to wind down by doing a little asana exercise.
A sauna exercise. The downward dog pose. Ardha asana. The cat-cow pose. I can't remember. Chaturanga sana chaturanga sana. The snake and spine. I don't know, that headstand, and then finish it off with the headstand, I think, but probably not. There's actually another one. There's a different one. I can't remember. Maybe this is the finish. Anyway, headstand. Got the freaking whatever, chilling on the yoga mat doing a headstand. 417 views.
I'm Mickey Gemineye. It's the end of the day here in Chicago.
Yeah, so then just hitting you with some random shit, and then I'm still fucking reading shit on my emails like, here's some tips on how to improve the performance of your channel. Provide new interesting topics of no thank you, I'm doing just fine. You know, making extreme examples of dare to say no against drugs much. Couldn't be easier to solve the problem much. More camping stuff, more guitar stuff, sneak peek of what's in the studio, what's going down in the studio, warping sounds, excuse me, penny whistle, and stuff making. I gotta scroll back down here, up and down, like I'm doing push-ups and everything. Then I just, I get into like personal stuff too that I want to like tell you about. And like, I want to tell you about poetry writing. I want to say thank you. I want to say, here's something I'm pissed about. This is one I actually have to watch again for myself. It's just that
I would write business cards often with a hornet in my pen. But when I do, I take a video of it and share it on my Instagram so that you can see how cool I am.
But I'm just like writing a business card with a hornet on there, and it's just like not that big of a deal. And then of course the meaningful hornet. The meaningful hornet. My name's Mickey. I drink Mickeys. There's a hornet fucking on my pen while I'm drawing a fucking business card with my name Mickey on it. I mean, that's just madness, dude. That's just insanity. That's just insane. Something about an energy drink. Here's a book summary, like a book review. Here's something random. Here's some news about the Bandcamp app when they had a glitch and everybody else had problems with it. How to make dreadlocks. This one earned me a subscriber when I was using Google Transcript. Bandcamp app back. There's a welcome to my like world or whatever. And then Bandcamp's back. Streamer's nightmare. I wanted to tell you about something that was happening I want to tell you about something bad that was happening to me, and then so I freaking put this on here, and then it's just, once again, it's just always something good to have. It's better to have it, not need it, than to need it, not have it. There's a whole philosophical conundrum for you to sift through if you're a philosopher. And then some guitar hacks, how to stay hygienic when you're off grid. Shorts. I don't even know what this one is. What is this one? Oh, those are recent.
I make a lot of online.
Those are recent shorts. Pro tips. Stumble guys. Just like when I randomly add shit in because it's there. And then studio recording. Podcast review parts 1, 2, and 3. Heads up on the new episodes coming out. Commenting on a guitarist. Commenting on an album. Something about 90s babies. My reaction to winning a competition that just turned out horribly. It just turned out absolutely horribly. So bad. I even got a negative comment from somebody. Stepped on a beehive and then just screaming in pain from stepping on a beehive and all the bees stinging me. Guitar hacks. My most recent guitar hack's doing really good with 6 comments, including 3 of my own, or 4 of my own, and 2 from somebody else, and then 6 likes, and that's good. So it's my most recent guitar stuff. Season 5 teaser, where I'm going into, it's a 5-minute video where I'm going into the process of looking into the info that I needed for the Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony that occurred this year, where Ozzy Osbourne was finally inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Me trying to get this one guy on the podcast and then commenting on his video with some just random ass goofy ass shit. It just makes pretty good use of my time. And then 15-second guitar picks, 15-second this thing that I just recorded in today.
Well, good morning, and this is like 15 seconds of fury right here. Fucking this skateboard ramp down.
I might as well even just delete it, except for just leave it there, just because it's there. Because you can't even see the music, or you can't even see the ramp. You can't even see the thing I'm trying to show you. So the next one I have to follow it up with is like, okay, you know, here's the trick that I did on it, like rock and roll, or rock to fakey, or something like that. But the thing that I was saying earlier is what I'm saying. It's just like I wake up in the morning in a tent when it's about to get cold out, experiencing the changing of the seasons, and then skateboarding on a skateboard ramp that I drank while drinking a Red Bull. Skating on a skateboard ramp that I built in the woods while drinking a Red Bull after it rained, so the ramp is all slippery and there's the water over here. It's like, oh, it's the same thing as like a hornet being on my pen, while Hornet is the logo of Mickey's beer, and I drink Mickey's beer, and my name's Mickey, and I'm making a fucking it's ungodly. Can someone say or do something about this, please? Anyway, here's the musical project that I'm doing. It's like, you know, hey, let me talk to myself then, because the question was asked, and here the answer has arrived as well, in the form of music. That all my music on here is what's up with this demo track, the only track that I'm proud of here. The demo track, the demo single, now turned into a visualizer track on here, where I'll just do the commercial break like that, finish it off like that, as we have, this is just all some kind of experimental avant-garde type style stuff with some of the stuff on there. The content on the with the content on the production company YouTube channel is, so it's the narrative right here, all the links right here. LYENS Productions is a media production company founded by Mickey Gemineye that creates and publishes music, film, and podcasts. Established 2013 as a podcast called Third Eye Awareness, streaming videos on YouTube about spirituality. Then in 2017 as the LYENS Den, hosting guests for an hour or more. Host Mickey Gemineye zeroes in on mythos, relevant discussions from current events in the music world, and musician interviews. Currently, LYENS Production publishes audiobooks and operates the Vault of Doom podcast with its original founder, Mickey Gemineye, available for streaming on Spotify, YouTube, and Twitch. There's my Linktree with all the links on it. All donations are greatly appreciated, as Mickey Gemineye requires 10 shillings per day to satiate his affinity for collecting the bones of his enemies. I just can't believe that I still have that much fucking of a desire to still create some kind of my own shit on there. It's profound, unbelievable, astonishing. If you haven't noticed yet, everybody's tired of being astonished and wants to preserve and protect the profound, and would rather just focus on the profane right now. So that's the whole point of taking on this role and taking on this responsibility of sporting symbolism such as this, and then making the music that symbol entails. So I mean, you know, if I need to explain it myself to that point, you know, it diminishes a shitload of fucking everything that mattered the most. But it sure helps that I can just go ahead, dust myself off, brush my shoulders off, and wake up another day, keep trying. But last but not least is ASMR of 15-minute each videos of plastic wrapper sounds. I added in the do's and don'ts of camping for those who want to do all that stuff. A thank you to the viewers, a poetry tutorial, babbling brook, white noise, rain and birds, gentle rainfall being the first one, a live one. These are all 10 to 15 minutes, and that wraps everything up, as I don't have the bio, the description. The bio and the description like being read from me as important as just having it there when I close out. So being here on this channel, I see that I've got you on here. Let me switch you over to the music project channel. Viewing channels, pop on over here into this. It's more creative shit, not created by AI. I didn't ask AI to create my fucking bio and all this shit, but it's you know, it's everything's there, video, and then of course I'm just gonna end off with this.
out.